Hey YouTube, Gold Hunter here. In today's video, we're going to talk about stacking nickels. Done the Gold Hunter way. Stay tuned. Metal value of nickel at time of video was $9.46 US dollars per pound. So why do we stack nickels? Or why maybe we should look at stacking nickels? Well, these are some of the reasons I do it, and I'll give you some insight here today. So why not? We stack silver, right? And junk silver, well, this is pretty much going to be junk nickel, right? You got to think 1964, a US quarter had 23 cents of silver value in it. It was getting so expensive to make that the mint decided to stop using silver because the silver was too high. Now, at today's price, it has a $5.69 of silver value in it. Now think, if you could have saved all your quarters in 1964 at 25 cents face value each, right? You would have quite a bit of money today, right? Because each one of those quarters would be worth almost $6. And this is why I'm thinking on stacking nickels. Well, I'm not thinking, I am stacking. I've been stacking for a couple of years. But I think a lot of people should start getting into it. I'm going to explain why. And your best bet is going to be to stack the Canadian nickel. And we're going to go through why. So, 1922 to 1981 Canadian 5-cent nickels, or 5 cents, has 9 cents US dollars worth of nickel in it, right? So 9.45. So it has little over 9 cents worth of nickel in that 5 cents. So it's already worth double the nickel, right? And you could still get a lot of these nickels out there. And for the Canadian viewers, that would be 13 cents Canadian of nickel value in every 5-cent piece. So if you were to add the same increase to nickel as what we did with silver up here, like it went from 23 cents to 5.69, it would be worth $2.34 US. So why not stack up a bunch of these 5-cent nickels right now? And in, say, 40 years, it'd be worth $2.34. And now, it might not be. Maybe nickel drops. We're going to talk about that later. Maybe it goes up even higher than that, right? There's going to be reasons for both those situations. One is you got to think the EV market, right? Solar, all these things, okay? Now, in this video, we're going to talk about melt. And what do you mean by the term melt? Some people don't understand that term. Well, it means metal value. It means, so are you if you melt the metal down, how much is the metal value in that item? So another question, are you going to melt the nickels down? This is a question I get a lot about silver, right? When I say the melt value of silver. No, I'm not going to melt the nickels down. What I'm hoping for is the same thing with junk silver. You can just sell them as melt price because it's worth more than the face value, right? All right, let's move on. So a US nickel metal value at present time, right? And the cool thing about, so there's cool things about the US nickels and cool things about the Canadian nickels, and they both got some pretty neat stuff that we need to learn about here. So 1866 to present US nickels. So they've never changed except for between 1942 and 1945 at the bottom of your screen. The content was 56% copper, 35% silver, 9% manganese. Now, every other year from 1866 to now, it weighed 5 grams and it was 75% copper, 25% nickel. Okay? And it doesn't matter if it's a Shield nickel, a Liberty V nickel, a Buffalo Head nickel, a Jefferson nickel. So at the time of this video, each US nickel is worth 6 cents, almost 7 cents, right? In US dollars. And if you're a Canadian and you had these US nickels, you can get almost 9 cents for them. Okay, that's pretty good, right? That's more than face value. Why would you want to spend your 5-cent nickel when you can hold it and hopefully somebody will buy them from you in the future at a higher price? Now, we're hoping that they don't stay at 6 or 7 cents or 8 or 9 cents, right? We're hoping that the metal like doubles or whatever. Now, this is where it gets interesting. And I think for Americans, you're going to see coming up in the next slides that you might want to try and get your hands on the Canadian nickels, right? So a Canadian nickel isn't 25% nickel like the American nickel. It is 100% nickel. And a real cool thing is it weighs 4.54 grams. Okay. And then if you know what a pound is 454 grams. So 100 nickels exactly equals 1 pound of nickel. At the time of the video, a Canadian nickel, between 1922 and 1981, not from the years 1942 to 43, because they were made tomback. They were copper and zinc for the war. 44 and 45, they were chrome-plated steel. And 51 to 54, they were also chrome-plated steel. Any other year from 22 to 1981, they were 100% nickel. Okay? After 1981, they started making them 25% nickel. They're not worth as much, so we're just going to skip those. And they're not even close to this price, okay? They're like 6 cents or whatever. So, but at time of video, a Canadian nickel between 22 and 81, that does not include these ones, down at the bottom of your screen, is worth almost 10 cents US. Okay? So you're already doubled. Okay? A Canadian nickel, or in Canadian exchange rate, it is 13 cents each. So now you're seeing why you might want to keep the Canadian nickels, right? You're looking double already, more than double your face value. Where if we've seen the American one slide from before, it wasn't double yet, right? So now, and the cool thing though, the bad thing is that we do have to look for these years in here, which these ones are almost worthless. Okay. The 42 to 43, the 44 to 45, 51 to 54. Where the American ones, we don't really have to do that. All nickels are going to be the same, except for those few years where they're silver. And you definitely want to keep those ones because those are even worth more, right? They have 35% silver in them. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Now, another thing about Canadian coinage is a lot of people think, hey, $1 coins, 50-cent coins, 25-cent coins, 10-cent coins, 5-cent coins were all made of 100% nickel in Canada. Unlike the US, they didn't do that. They're all made of nickel, 100%. So why wouldn't I just save $1 coins or 25-cent coins instead of the nickel coins? They're so much bigger, right? They're going to, be easier to save than all these little wee nickels. Well, I'm telling you, if that's the way you think, you're wrong. Because look at in this slide here, a $1 coin from 1968 to 1986 was 100% nickel, but it was 15.62 grams. At a dollar face, and melt value was only 33 cents US, 44 cents Canadian. A 50-cent coin, which has a face value of 50 cents, has a 16.8, so about 17-cent US dollar value. Well, that's not more than its face value. Okay. And 23 cents in Canadian. 25 cents has about a 10-cent value of nickel content, or 14 cents in Canadian. A dime has about 4 cents of value. Well, why would you want to save for nickel? You're losing. You're not losing because you use it for face value. You're getting 10 cents. Okay? But now look down here, the nickel, right? Face value, 5 cents. Melt value, 9 cents US. Almost 10 cents, right? 13 cents Canadian. 13 cents Canadian. The reason is the nickel is not proportionate to the rest of these. It's almost the same size as a quarter. And you're thinking, oh no, it's a lot smaller. It's a lot thicker. That's the reason. And look at this 10 cent. It's double the value, face value, but it's half the weight, right? So that's why you want to save the nickel, because it's already over its face value by quite a bit. Now in this slide, I'm going to show you what it would take to get the rest of the 1968 to 2000 era coins in Canada to get over its face value, so where it would be worth stacking dollar coins, $half coins, $quarter coins, and dimes. So it would take $29.04 US nickel price, and right now it's $9, right? But it would take it to get to $29 before your melt value would be $1, right? To equal out your face value, or a little bit above on your $half, your 25 cent, and your dime. So that would be where then you could technically think about using this as a stacking tool. And now, same in Canadian. To get $1, you would need $29 Canadian to get the melt value to $1, or 52 cents, or 32 cents, or 13 cents. Okay? Now, if you get to $29 in Canadian, you're not going to have $1 in US for this coin, right? Or 52 cents for the $half. You're not. It's going to be lower. And same as if you get to 29.04 in US dollars, your Canadian melt value will be higher. Okay? But even with all this, still look at where your nickel is, right? You're barely over your face value with your melt in all these other coins, but look at where your nickel is. It's way over. That's why we just worry about the nickels, okay? You don't have room to be stacking all these other coins that may never get to that price, right? All right, moving on. So I put up a little clip here of what you can expect, right? So 1 US nickel in US dollars is 6 cents. Okay? In Canadian dollars, it's 9 cents. For 100 US nickels, you'd be $6.56 US, $8.93 Canadian. So you're going to trade your $5 in for $6.56. Not bad. Why would you want to spend them as $5? Because if you take it to the store, that's what you're doing. Take it to the bank, that's what you're doing. 1,000 nickels, which would be $50, is $65.60. So you just made $15, right? 2,000 nickels, $100. You're now up to $131. Or if you're in Canada, it'd be $180. 20,000 nickels, that's $1,000 in nickels, you'd be at $1,312. Okay? And this is where your exchange rate in Canada, where you start to gain big time, right? So 10 pounds of nickels, $59, right? 10 pounds of American nickels, I should say, because when we get to the Canadian, you're going to see a difference here. Because your nickels in the US are only 25% nickel, right? Where in Canada, they're 100%. So it's a total different number when you get down in this part. 100 pounds, you get $595. 1,000 pounds, you have $5,952. And 1 ton of nickels would get you $13,121, or $17,920 Canadian. All right, now I'm going to mention here For you Americans, I think you should probably stack your US nickels because they are worth more than face, right? But, and we do hope these go up. Like we don't want to trade it in for these numbers. We want this to double, triple, quadruple, right? But I'm going to tell you, I really believe you guys should be looking to get your hands on the Canadian nickels. And in the next slide, you'll see why. So here's the big difference. A Canadian nickel, right, is worth 9 cents American. It's worth 13 cents Canadian at time of video. For 100 nickels is $9.45 US, or $13 Canadian. 1,000 nickels, $50, is $94.54 US. So you've almost doubled, right? You're almost doubling your money. Where in the US one, you're not, right? You're only up by a couple bucks, you know. In the Canadian nickels, you're going to double your money. And if you're Canadian, you're almost tripling your money. You're about 2.5 times your money. So 2,000 nickels is $189 US, $260 Canadian. 20,000 nickels, $1,000. Why wouldn't you trade your $1,000 in for $1,800 or almost $1,900? You get $900 extra dollars. And if you're Canadian, $2,600. You can trade your $1,000 of nickels for $2,600. You'd be absolutely mad if you want to trade those nickels, if you want to get $1,000 for them. I don't understand why everyone's not doing this. Now, I'm glad they're not, because it makes more nickels for me, right? And how do you get these nickels, you may ask? Well, I go to the bank. I get coin rolls. I hunt the coin rolls. I take the nickels out that are 100% nickel. Simple. Then I take back all the ones that are not 100% nickel. I give them back to the bank. They give me my money back for those. And then I just keep all the nickels that are pure nickel at home. All right. So 10 pounds of nickel in Canadian nickels is $94.55 US, or 130 Canadian. Now, do you see that? Look up here. Look up here. 100 nickels is $9.45. 1,000 nickels is $94.54. Right? Down here, 10 pounds, $94.55. It's actually $94.54, whatever, but I've rounded up. But you see that? See how the Canadian coins are all in unison? Right? Because that's 1 pound. Like 100 nickels is 1 pound. 1,000 nickels is 2 pounds, or is 10 pounds. 2,000 nickels, right? That is 20 pounds, right? So it just makes it easy, really, in Canadian nickels because they're 100%. Now, 1,000 pounds of nickels will get you $9,455.10 US, or $13, or not 13, $13,000 Canadian. Now, 1 ton of Canadian nickels, which you're not going to have in your house, but we put it here for reasons. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can't have it at your house. Maybe you have a big house. I don't know. But it would be $20,000, $844.93 US, or $28,468.90 Canadian. So you see why you're going to want to save the Canadian ones? You're doubling your money right now. What if it quadruples, right? Now you're looking 8 times your money. Okay. And in Canadian, you'd be looking 10 times your money, right? So say if it quadruples, you could take what would be easy to have, 2,000 nickels, right? Let's say $1,000, right? You've been saving for years. Say it takes you 5-6 years, and it quadruples over that time. You'd be looking over 10 grand if you're Canadian for $1,000. Not a bad payday, right? Okay, let's conclude this. Why am I stacking nickel in Canadian coins? Number one, it's affordable, right? I can go to the bank, I get them for face value. Right? You can go and you can get coin rolls and do silver, junk silver, And do it for face value too, but you're not going to find very much. Not every box is going to have some. But nickels right now, there's still lots out there. Okay. But the mint is trying to claw a lot of them back. So you got to be quick at this. Get on it. So it's affordable, right? Way affordable, more affordable than silver. Number 2, right time. It's the right time. Now is the right time. It was actually probably the right time a decade ago. But right now is the right time. Don't wait any longer. Okay? Because eventually these are going to get even more scarce. And then you're going to have a hard time buying them. And then if it does quadruple or go up, guess what's going to happen? People are going to have them. You're going to have to buy them from them at not face value. You're going to have to buy them for, right? For like 4 times the money. You don't want to do that. Buy them now. Well, they're still 5 cents each. Now, it's number 3 is for the weight. And you might ask, why? What do you mean by weight? Well, I have a very large safe, right? And I don't keep all my valuables in it. Most of my stuff is at the bank in a safety deposit. But I do have some here from time to time, right? Now, I have a lot of nickels stacked. A lot. Okay. And you know how heavy nickels can get? And I also do stack copper pennies as well, because they're worth about 3 cents each. Now, you know how heavy my safe is? That if someone wanted to come in and take it, first of all, they're going to have a fight if they try. But at the end of the day, if they win that fight, they are going to need a forklift. They're going to have to get a forklift into the house somehow and get that safe out. Because not only is there nickels in there, there's other coins. There's maybe lead, brass. There's a lot of weight there. 4 guys are not lifting this thing unless they're all the size of Brian Shaw. Then you might have something, but good luck. It's also very big. So the weight of the safe itself is huge, right? But with all these nickels in there, they make my safe so heavy that you were probably not getting it out of my house, even if you did win the fight, right? I like that. Number 4, for the future. You may ask, what about the future gold hunter? Well, my thinking is EVs, right? Solar, it all uses nickel. Price of nickel probably going to go up quite a bit more yet. All right. Now, number 5, no downside. You're like, oh, gold hunter, no downside. What are you talking about? What if the price of nickel drops right down and you're sitting on a big pile of nickels that are worthless? What are you talking about worthless? They're still worth 5 cents each. I paid 5 cents each. They're still worth face value no matter what. So I can still, if that happens, take them all to the bank and get all the money I put into it back. There is no downside to this. None. 0. All right. So I'm very passionate about nickels, guys. And I'm hoping to see some of you guys into it too, because I think it's the next thing to get into, especially with the EV and the future, right? They want to be green. Well, they want to get rid of the gas guzzlers and all that. Well, there's only one way to do that. It's EVs. So now I don't necessarily agree with going EVs as well, but I'm just saying I know they're going to try to, right? So why not be prepared with the metal that's going to take it there? All right, I want you to please like and subscribe. It's free and it helps out a lot. Thank you. I hope I earned your subscription today. Gold Hunter out. Stay golden, everyone.